There's a lot of talk right now about extroversion and introversion, and I'm really grateful for it because I think it's helping people better understand who they are and what their needs are and how they can better engage in the world. However, I feel like the conversation is actually fairly limited because extroversion and introversion are just one part of who you are and what makes up your personality. Hi, my name is Elise Touche. I'm a purpose and leadership coach, and my goal is to help you understand yourself, appreciate yourself for who you are, appreciate others for who they are, and that way you guys can join together to move each other and the rest of the world to a better place. And part of that is understanding your personality, your innate wiring, and your innate preferences. And so I want to broaden the conversation beyond extroversion and introversion and know who you are as your whole self. However, in order to do that, we do need to talk about extroversion and introversion, and that's what we'll talk about in this video, this part one video. There will be 3 other parts that we'll add into this that will look at other components and aspects of personality. Everything that we talk about will be discussed, or that we'll be discussing, will come from this tiny yet powerful little book called Introduction to Type by Isabel Briggs Myers, one of the creators of the Myers-Briggs type indicator. So, as I said, we do need to talk about extroversion and introversion. And I think that conversation's been happening pretty well already. And I think there's already awareness of this, but what I really want to highlight is it's more than butterflies and flowers. And what I mean by that is I think oftentimes people personify extroverts or people who prefer extroversion as the social butterfly. They're flitting around and they're, just engaging with people and they're out in the world and they're doing stuff and they're the life of the party and all those types of things. And then with introversion, it's that they're the wallflower, and that maybe they're shy and a little withdrawn and not very social. And while these descriptions could be traits that people express in who are extroverted and introverted, we have free will. We get to choose how we act in the world. It doesn't mean that that's how we're naturally wired. We still get to have choice. And so people's behavior is not determined by their preference for extroversion and introversion. And extroversion and introversion are about more than just social stuff. What it's really about is where you direct your attention and where you get your energy. So we'll look at both of these we'll look at this for both extroversion and introversion. But we'll look at it all in this video as well as the following videos. We'll look at all of it through the context of how you work, just to narrow down the discussion a little bit. People who prefer extroversion, they tend to like variety and action. They enjoy interacting with people. They get energy from interacting with people. They develop their ideas through discussion. So again, that attention, that energy is all outside of them. They learn new tasks by talking and doing, and they're interested in how other people do their work. They almost need something to bounce off of in order to understand what they're thinking and in order to get the most out of their ideas. With introversion, they usually tend to like quiet for conversation. They enjoy focusing on the project or task at hand, so it's not as much about people as it is about the task itself and the project itself that they're working on. And as we'll see in future videos, people do matter to introverts, but they get really focused on what they're working on. They tend to develop their ideas internally, so they're going to want to think about their ideas before they talk about them, whereas extroverts tend to talk about their ideas in order to think about them. They learn new tasks by reading and reflecting. And they enjoy working alone with no interruptions because they want to develop those ideas, right? They really want to solve the problem in their head first before they really express it to anybody. So what? Who cares? Who cares if you know all of this about yourself? Well, here's what you do with this information. First of all, you understand what your needs are. Perhaps you've been operating in a way that doesn't support how you actually work and engage. And even though we have an extroverted, biased culture, it doesn't mean that all things out there support extroverts. So in understanding your needs, you also want to ask for what you need. And that might mean letting somebody know, for example, hey, I need to talk this out for a second. Or can I whiteboard this a little bit? Where you're interacting a little bit more to work through your ideas and letting people know that you need to do that and asking for that. On the flip side, a similar scenario with an introvert might be that or with somebody who prefers introversion, it might be that they say, you know what, I need a few minutes to think about that. Or can I get back to you tomorrow with an answer? I really want to process this. That's okay. Those are both legitimate asks. They can't always be accommodated, but whenever it's appropriate, you should definitely be asking for what you need to contribute the best that you can to the situation. Likewise, in understanding your needs and asking for what you need, it will probably help you have a better understanding of the person across from you and kind of checking in with them on what they need and supporting them in that. So again, that you can get the best out of the interactions that you're having. So that's it for extroversion and introversion. I want you to have some baseline information before we move on to our next discussion, which will come next week. And that is all about how we take in information. And of course, if you want to learn more, you can always go to my website, elisetouche.com. You can learn more about who I am, what I do, and how we might work together.